You call and he doesn't come back. Now, we didn't know what that was. All we knew that something was wrong. Walter, his best buddy, is looking at us like, what happened to Owen? We're thinking the same thing. It's like we're looking for clues to a kidnapping. We go to see some doctors. Our internist says, I don't know, you're out of my league. You'll need to see a specialist. And we do see a specialist, a woman in a white coat, who says, okay, let's have Owen go from Ron to Cornelia down a long hallway. And I squat down, and Cornelia's way down around where the podium is. And I said, Owen, hey buddy, just walk like you used to walk. Just this one time. And I let go of him. And he weaves down the hall like someone walking with their eyes shut. Cornelia scoops him up. I don't think I've ever seen her hug him so tight. Doctor sits us down and says, okay, this is called autism. Now, the first thing I say is, you mean like Rain Man with Dustin Hoffman? She's like, well, maybe not. He speaks. And when the regressive autism, about the third of all cases, when it's this steep, often they don't get speech back. And that's the last thing either of us heard in that doctor's appointment. It's like we lifted out of our body. Both of us, Cornelia and I, had the same sensation. Looking down in the scene, mom, dad, doctor, Owen on the rug, looking at his hands. The people who entered that office are gone. We left them behind. And we used to miss them. Not so much soon after. We were not in that car 5 minutes. And already we are throwing this doctor in the trash. What does she know? What, are you kidding? I mean, how did she even come to that diagnosis? Denial, powerful force. We see another doctor after that, because we got rid of her. Somehow, I felt a bond with this doctor. I'm not sure why. He was a Jewish guy about that tall. Albros and black. He was mostly treating us so that we didn't run out of the room. He says, what we have here is a PDD-NOS, pervasive developmental disorder not otherwise specified. I'm like, I love that term. I don't think I've ever heard such a meaningless medical term. Not otherwise specified. Great. And we consider this a delay. Now, it's not really a delay. It's a difference. But our journey had begun. So, through all of this, I feel the presence. Owen has memorized all the Disney animated movies silently. Right, buddy?
Yeah.
Okay, now just think about that feat. When I hear the word special needs, I want to say, okay, let me add special needs, special gifts.
Yeah.
Well, you should have that with it. That's the truth. Special needs, special gifts. Those gifts are sometimes hard to measure. Doesn't mean they're not there. I think we often have a fallacy of measurement. If you can't measure it, what's to say? Who'd say it's there? It's true. But we know that's true. We've lived it. And what we have here, and what everyone here is feeling, is that combination of special needs and special gifts. Different, not less. Disability? Yes. But also some powerful abilities. we're now recognizing. And that's part of what we have done in this family. The story here, which you see in the movie and see written in the book, is one of our evolution, of our recognition. Owen memorizes all the movies. Have you been able to memorize 50 movies? Anyone here? All of them? Every line of dialogue? Every song? Every pause? No. And all of a sudden we realize that, and we realize it when Walter, who is the brother, and the brothers and sisters have a crucial role in the life of a neurodiverse person, which we'll talk about later. Walter, at his 9th birthday party, after Owen has not spoken for about 5 years, Walter gets a little weepy. Walter never gets weepy except on his birthday. We didn't even really notice that. I mean, we have a story of Walter that he is the world's toughest Jew, number one. He's like an Israeli. He's tough, he's independent, very common for siblings of the neurodivergent. It's like, I'm good. I see mom and dad, you got your hands full. Great, I'm gonna get a condo. I'll check in, I'll call. But he gets a little emotional every year he gets older. So, after the birthday party, the kids leave. Owen's in the backyard with Walt. Cornelia and I bring in the plates and the cake and what's left of the juice, and Owen follows us into the kitchen. Now he's up to about a 3-word sentence. I want juice after 5 years. We pretty much spent all the money we have on every specialist that holds a shingle. Owen looks at Cornelia and looks at me with looks of enormous intensity. Then all of a sudden he says, Walter doesn't want to grow up like Mowgli or Peter Pan. Then he runs out of the room. It's like a thunderbolt went through the kitchen. It's not only a big sentence with a comma in the middle and a thought we didn't have. All of a sudden Cornelia and I are just struck, and then we can't stop talking for hours. Oh my God. And Cornelia says, he's in there. He's using these movies to make sense of the world around him, our world. And then, after several hours, she says, I'm going to sleep, but she's up every night with him, because Owen doesn't sleep at this point. She says, your job, Dad, your job is to find a way back in. Okay, this is where the dad tries to pick up the back of the Volkswagen, by the way. Okay, she's like, you're the crazy one, you wear the propeller hats at the birthday parties. Do it. Up I go. To the basement, to this room at the top of the house where both boys live. Separated. I see Owen on the bed, and he's looking at a Disney book. Okay, and I see over to the left is a puppet, and I know he loves this character, right? It's Iago, the evil sidekick to the villain Jafar in Aladdin. Gilbert Gottfried. Okay, and it's one of those $98 plush toys. The idea I remember the price tag tells you a lot. And we've spent every cent we have on Disney crap. I mean, everything they have, we have. I grab the puppet, I pull up to my elbow, I crawl across the rug. I don't want to look at me, not much of a danger of that. I get to the edge of the bed, I feel the bedspread over my head, I push the puppet up, and I say, Owen, how does it feel to be you? That's Gilbert Gottfried, by the way. He turns to the puppet like he's bumping into an old friend. He says, not good, I'm lonely and I have no friends. I bite down hard onto the bedspread. Like, my God, just stay in character. What would Yago say next? When did you and I become such good friends? When I watched Aladdin, you made me laugh. And we're talking. Owen and Iago. It goes on for about 2 minutes, at which point I can't stand it anymore. I throw off the bedspread. I say, Owen, I'm Iago. I wake up Cornelia. A breakthrough. We start the next day the basement sessions. We've got the giant screen here to watch the movie. We're going to need that. That's our script coach. Owen knows the whole script. We need that for every scene to get our lines. And we play characters. The first one is Jungle Book. Okay? And everyone takes a character. I'm Baloo, which works other than the height thing. Cornelius Bagheera, totally works, the protecting panther. My Mowgli, you've got to get to the man village. The jungle's full of dangers. Walter, of course, is King Louie, the orangutan. Hey, Colin, I'll see you later, buddy. I think Colin likes Jungle Book too. I get it. After about 7 scenes, as Baloo, I get my lines, click, click, okay, let's go. You know you'd make one great bear. And he says, you think so, Papa Bear? That's Mowgli's line. And then he hugs me. And I'm not sure if it's Mowgli, Baloo, or me and Owen. And of course Cornelius says, it doesn't matter. And it doesn't. Over years, Owen gets his speech back. We play this almost every night. Look, we look like the rest of you, like normal people. But at night, we're animated characters. I mean, at this point, I'm interviewing presidents for a living, by the way, which gets very complicated. At one point, in Lion King, Owen watched that thing where the hyenas do the goose-stepping thing. Remember that scene? And Owen looks over at me, this is a few years later, and says, Dad, it was as the run-up to the Iraq War. Dad, are you having problems with George W. Bush? I said, yeah, Dad, I kind of am, buddy. We're both doing our job, okay? That becomes the foundation of something called affinity therapy, used all over the world. It's what we introduce in the book, in the movie. Look, it's drawn from things that are cousins in the world of therapy. But the fact is, it helps people in their understanding of what neurodivergence really is. Our friends on the spectrum, they carry all of our qualities, but some of them in very extreme measures. And they are intensely interested in the stuff they love. Passions. They used to think they were obsessions. They're not. They're passions just like the rest of us have, but intense, enveloping. They make sense of the world through these affinities. And when you can enter the world of the affinity, you will meet them. You will be astonished at the capabilities some of them have. Because that's where many of their special gifts are most fully realized and expressed. And that's what happens here. Owen created an emotional language out of movies. I have never created a language. And I have top of the mountain credentials. All of a sudden I'm seeing the world turn upside down in a beautiful way. How we measure ability. How we judge, as Cornelia once said, the meaningful life. After one of the therapy sessions, we left. And a doctor said, cut your hopes and losses with him. And he won't have a meaningful life. We're in the car. Seems like almost everything happens, doesn't it, in the car after a doctor's visit? When you're driving, both of you side by side, little lines of paint going under the wheels. She says, who decides what a meaningful life is? Where's the committee on that? So I'd like to lodge a protest. Exactly. When the book came out, around the time I was last here I came one other time, but that big time, 11 years ago. At colleges and universities, they had weekends reading the book and asking the question, who defines what the meaningful life is? I think part of the idea and part of what people said is that this notion of the meaningful life, frankly, it seems to be decided for you. Something of a bequest by the culture, maybe by certain ideas in the meritocracy. And the kid said, no, wait a minute. I think it's bigger than that. I'll tell you one little part, and then we'll move right to present tense. Owen was thrown out of the school, deemed uneducable by this school, place he loved. He was pretty busted up. He's about 11 years old now. He didn't move up to the junior high school with the rest of the kids. We had a whole day plan that last day at school. They had Owen in a one-person graduation with a mortarboard and all that. Just one kid graduating from the lower school. All the other kids were there. No one was fooled by this, by the way. Most of the kids were LD, or disabled, dyslexia, ADHD. Just different than autism. Maybe a lighter lift. They wrote beautiful cards to Owen. To Owen, 1,000 years of Disney joy. Owen, who has taught us. We had a whole day planned. All Owen's favorite things. The video store, ice cream, you name it. Owen's like, no, I have some things to do. I have some movies to watch. He goes out to the basement and he starts watching movies. Goes on for about a month, and another one. And then he asks for a pad. He says, hey, give me a pad. He's doing something. Some sort of drawing, some sort of project. Another month passes. Cornelia and Walter are out at Walter's football practice. Football. My son plays football. I know that's a surprise. Cornelia has normal-sized people in her family. Walter is actually the tallest Suskind in 800 years. We checked. In Minsk and Pinsk, they're rejoicing. I go down to the basement. Owen must be up on the third floor of the house. I see a pad in the middle of the rug, right in front of the TV. Open up the pad, and I see a precise drawing, almost like a copy of Sebastian from The Little Mermaid. I don't know. When Ariel loses her voice. Child who lost his voice. You got it. You know the secret. These are stories that have been told for 1,000 years. We're taught that they're, not the stuff of scholarship. Well, they are. They're the stories humans tell each other to say, this is who we are. Another sidekick, and another side. Flounder, Rafiki, Jiminy Cricket. There are 100 pages, all sidekicks, no heroes. I'm like, where's Aladdin? Where's Ariel? Page by page. I get to the last page. I open it up. On this page, Owen is written in a scrawl, I am the protector of the sidekicks. And on the last page, the back flap, he writes, no sidekick is left behind. He had kind of received a first judgment of the world, and he was responding. This becomes Owen's philosophy. Later, after the movie came out, big screening, someone tried to get Owen kind of caught up. A bit of a trick question. We're all on the stage, all four of us. He says, Owen, how does it feel to be a celebrity? They were trying to get Owen to embrace the idea of hero. And Owen says, I'm not a celebrity, I'm a person being celebrated. They're different. Not bad. Then he gets quiet. And everyone knows, having seen the movie, he's going deep. Again, this is common. Owen, you think he's different? He's not. There's a zillion people just like him. He's just the one you've met. But he goes deep into the well in which he's got insights and pattern recognition and memory beyond anything else that we have. But frankly, the kids of the truck have it. The adults of the truck have it. Owen's place, they got it. Special needs, special gifts. And he bubbles up after about 30 seconds of silence. And he says, I think we're all really sidekicks at our best when we help others fulfill their destiny. And you don't get redrawn in this life. Jump ahead to 2018. We get a call from Rome. Now, some of you know, I'm Jewish, married to a beautiful Catholic woman, Cornelia. Her mother, every day she gets communion. We get a call to go to the Vatican. There's a giant conference, Unite to Cure. People from all over the world are coming. It's about curing the diseases of the world and social justice, you name it. Owen and I are opening the conference. That's right. And of course, Cornelia was due to come, but she got some kind of bug the night before the flight left. So she sent the Jews. That's what she did. Go, Jews, go. Okay, we open the conference, and we're going to do a little of this on the stage in a minute, what we did at the conference. And then, 2 days in, they say, hey, the Pope may address the group. And this is Pope Francis, who I really like, by the way. Never met him, but just Francis. And sure enough, he comes. We all gather in a big giant hall next to St. Peter's, big giant thing, about 700 of us. And what they do is they put in the front row all the old Catholics who are rich and about to croak for the Pope. Because the Pope might walk down, they say, maybe, maybe not. He might come down and walk the row where he'll be blessing them. And we're right at the end of the aisle. Okay, so sure enough, the Pope comes out of this little Harry Potter door, and he starts to talk, and everyone's got the earphones on, and then he comes down. He starts walking the road, closer to us, with each step. Now, standing right next to us is Katy Perry. I don't know, go figure. She wanted to meet the Pope, and she's dolled up. Now, when you meet the Pope, by the way, just give you some cues, you can't wear white. It's like a wedding, only the Pope wears white. So she's dressed in black. I don't know if that's really appropriate either. The Pope comes to her, hi, whoever you are, and then he turns to Owen. Now Owen looks at the Pope like just another dude, which the Pope loves. Look at him. This Pope does. Francis did. Then they clasp hands. And Owen says, the sidekick helps the hero fulfill their destiny. It's the most important role. And the Pope understands English quite well. He goes, really? And then Owen ad-libs. Now, I do ad-lib professionally. I cannot ad-lib with the Pope. And I see Owen's doing an ad-lib here. I'm like, oh boy. And then he says, and you're the world's great sidekick, because you help the world to fulfill its destiny. The Pope starts to cry. Oh, I love this. Now, with certain audiences, I say, that's when I almost accepted Jesus as my personal Savior. I won't say that here. I'll lie. I'm not going to say it, all right? Think about that. See, this brings us back to that worthwhile life. worth however long that while may be. We got that, me and Len. Who knows how long? How does one define worth? I think we can define it largely, broadly, helping others, doing something beyond yourself, doing what you can to make the world somehow maybe a little better. As Jews, we use the phrase tikkun olam, heal the world. You know, that joke I used to say about Len, of course, it couldn't be more wrong. Some of you, I'm guessing, must be Len's clients. Anyone here is a Len's clients? Okay, got some Len's back there, a few over there. Len is not like 1,000 other people I know in the world of finance. You know that if you're one of his people. Yeah, he makes all those smart decisions as to what to do with your money. But he's also there as kind of a partner in your life. How are things? Let's talk. What can I do? Here's something you might think about. You know, in some ways, Len is a cousin that's very, very close, more than a son, kindred to my father. I am. He is as well. Because he's attentive to the passages of life. That's a life of worth, especially expressed to zillions of people who are in his community, and Lori as well. Of course, Cornelia. That's the thing that is the North Star of our family. I gave a speech about 6 months ago to a giant convention of insurance people. I said it's a tough time for insurance, especially people who insure big giant disasters born of things like climate change. But all of a sudden in the discussion, it dawned on me. This is an insurance policy. That's what it is. It's paid year by year to all of us throughout our life by virtue of making that request. Do it. Live the life of worth. Do everything you can to make that the light that shines. Of course, Owen and Walter and all of us are so happy to be here because this is one of the places in which we are so at home. Len's place, but this place. Lori's place, but this place. Where many stations of our life, many moments of our life have actually happened in this room, which is really much nicer than it was 11 years ago. I heard Anthony sing here. One of Owen's kindred on the spectrum. He's right here.
Jonathan.
We have lots of people who are special needs, special gifts. And the beauty of what's happened here is that you've made real that idea of special needs and special gifts and brought in the community. 80% of folks on the spectrum are unemployed, and they all yearn to work, to be part of something. They're the best employees anyone ever has. But it took a moment of tikkun olam, worthwhile, insight, reach, to say, hey, let's create this safe and wonderful place where their expression of their humanity and their ability can shine so brightly. And boy, my dad would be proud of everyone in this room. So, without further ado, I'm going to invite the Suskinds up to the stage. Owen Suskind, Cornelia, and Walter. Come on up.